Welcome into Simply the Bets. Glenn Clark, Griffin, Carson Weekly hanging out. Simply the Bets is brought to you by the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. We will head there in just a bit. As our buddy Leon Twyman, the general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook, will join us later on in the program. Obviously, big week, big fight week. UFC 277 coming up on Saturday night. Juliana Pena, Amanda Nunes in the main event. It was a shocker the last time around. And now Amanda Nunes, a big favorite. Oh, hello. I don't know what that was. Amanda Nunes, a big favorite to get her revenge. You can watch and bet on all the fights Saturday night in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. Reserve your spot right now. There are huge crowds every time there's a fight. There are huge crowds in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. So what you need to do is email events at sportssocialmd.com and reserve your spot for Saturday night and UFC 277 right now. Griffin just realized he forgot to send me an update on how Aaron's bets have gone. I get it. It's been a few weeks, so I don't remember either. We'll just pretend like Aaron Oster nailed all of his bets the last time, as our buddy Aaron Oster from VSiN joins us right now here on Simply the Bets. What's going on, pal? How are you?
I'm doing good. And, yeah, you know what? I was going to say I definitely hit him.
Oh, dude, you killed it. 5 for 5. 5 for 5 last
100%.
It's been a few weeks, but as we get closer to football season, obviously, I'm sure we will have more and more football thoughts as part of this. Mm-hmm. Let's dive in. 5 L's of sports betting for the week. We will, Aaron, not I. I don't profess myself to be an expert whatsoever. In fact, my results would tell you don't bet with me at all. Do anything but bet with me. Fade me. But we will go over a local, a long-term, a long shot, a lovable, and a loser bet for the week. Let's begin locally. What you got, Aaron?
Well, you know, if you guys have been listening to this for a while now, you know I love, when it comes to baseball, I love my strikeout props. It's one of my favorite bets to make baseball, and it just so happens that one of my favorite guys to bet is facing the Orioles today, Shane McClanahan on the mound, and his line is set at 7.5 strikeouts at -148. He's at least 8 strikeouts, 4 of his last 5 outings, 6 of his last 8. He's been a machine. There's a reason he's the AL Cy Young favorite, which, by the way, I gave out earlier this season on this show.
Look at you.
And what's more is it seems like there's sharp money on this. I'm actually a little bit bummed because I was starting to prepare for this last night. I was looking at all the lines, and I noticed this, and it was at +112. Now it's at -148. Huge move, and a move that big generally means there's a lot of sharp money on it. So I like to be on the sharp side, and so give me the over 7.5 strikeouts for Shane McClanahan before it moves even more.
Well, some of us actually realize that the 2024 World Series champion Baltimore Orioles are actually a lot better than that. So you're an a-hole. I will not make that bet. Go screw. The Orioles are going to plaster.
I didn't say they'd win. I didn't say they'd win, just that they'd strike out.
I'm going to say that Shane McClanahan is still unsettled from his shaky performance in the All-Star game, and comes out and gets rocked tonight.
Tony Gonsolin was rocked after his.
Yeah.
So
how about that?
He got out. He took the loss last night.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, that was his first actual loss of the season.
11-1 now.
I didn't even notice that. I didn't even catch that. All right, let's move forward. Aaron, a bad guy because he thinks the Orioles are going to strike out a ton tonight. Give me something long term. Give me a futures bet you got your eye on.
There's a few. I've been, obviously we're getting to the end of July. I'm not the biggest baseball bettor. I like betting baseball, but obviously at this point you start turning towards football. So I'm starting to look at win totals more, division prices, everything. And there's one win total that I've kind of been looking at for a while that I'm finally ready to give out as I look closer at their schedule. And that's the over on the Detroit Lions wins.
What?
It's set, right?
What? What?
Set at 6.5.
Wait, it's over 6.5? Holy crap!
And just a little bit to the over as well. FanDuel, it's -115.
Aaron, if you just want to donate your money to somebody, I promise you can donate it to me, and I'll put it towards a trip out to visit you in Vegas.
The Glenn Clark book will gladly accept this bet.
No
Let
doubt.
me explain this a little bit more, though. Their roster has been getting better, obviously.
Is it obvious, Aaron? Is it obvious that their roster is getting better?
Well, it can't get any worse than it was last year.
I mean, maybe.
I think their offense is actually put together. They've worked on that offensive line. I think the weapons around Jared Goff have gotten better. Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson. That is actually a pretty good skill position set.
It's not awful. It's not awful, but I'm not going to go a lot farther than that.
Okay.
They had Calvin Johnson, and they stunk. My guy.
Well, hey, it's Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's time now. But
y'all love Dan Campbell. Like, he is not the guy that punts on 4th and 2 from the opponent's 38-yard line. There is nothing that makes less sense than how much the internet loves Dan Campbell when everything he does is absolutely antithetical to how you should be trying to win in the NFL. He is a horrible coach. Just because he gives sound bites that are semi-comical or old school or sounds like he's got that dog in him, we're all like, I love that Dan Campbell fella. He stinks. Sorry.
You might be right, but you know what? My bet on this has almost nothing to do with talent, with roster, with coaching, with anything. It has to do with the schedule. Here are some of the games that are included on the Detroit Lions schedule. Washington at home, Seattle at home, Miami at home, Bears home and away, Giants away, Jaguars at home, Jets away, Carolina away. That's 9 winnable games on this schedule. And here's the other thing that's really interesting about the Lions schedule. Because they stink so badly, they are playing at 1 o'clock Sunday every single day, every single week, with the exception of Thanksgiving. That means at no point in the season do they have a rest disadvantage. And in a lot of those games, they have a rest advantage. Teams coming off Monday night games, teams coming off just weird things, maybe a Sunday night game to a Sunday day game. At no point do they have that disadvantage. And in a lot of games, they have the advantage. Warren Sharp does an analysis, and the Lions actually, when it comes down to figuring out who gets schedule advantage based on rest, has one of the best schedules in the entire league. The Bills actually are number 1, which is another reason a lot of people like the Bills. So, all that being said, week schedule, I think they are a little bit better. I think that offense is interesting. Give me the over 6.5 wins on the Lions.
Brother, look, it's your segment, and you're putting your name on it and the whole thing. I have lost money in a lot of ways. I'm going to make one thing very clear. I know one way I ain't going to be losing money. It's betting on the Detroit Lions winning football games. That will not be happening. Aaron Oster is with us here on Simply the Bets from VSiN out in Vegas. He's giving us his 5 L's for the week. All right, give me an underdog. Give me a long shot that you're feeling.
All right, this is a true long shot bet, and I understand why it's the odds, and I understand why anyone would scoff at me when I say this. But
hang on, can it be worse than the Detroit Lions over 6.5 wins?
I mean, it's a long shot. It's a far longer shot than minus 115.
I understand.
So I'm looking at the most receiving yards prop, and I noticed Michael Thomas is 35-1 to lead the league in receiving. And I understand. all the negatives right away.
Wow.
Yeah, I understand all the negatives right away.
All right.
Who knows when he plays? That's the big one. And that's the reason he's 35-1. But when you're looking for a long shot, you're basically looking for, well, what needs to happen for this to happen? And quite frankly, the answer is quite simple. If Michael Thomas does come back, is okay for week 1, is healthy, he would not be 35-1. Talking about, 2019, Jameis Winston led the league in passing. 2019, Michael Thomas led the league in receiving. Jameis Winston to Michael Thomas in 2022. If I tell you that Michael Thomas is healthy, he would be 18-1, 15-1 to lead the league in receiving. So if I'm giving you the given of he's healthy, 35-1 is actually pretty good value on Michael Thomas. Now, if you don't believe he's healthy at all, it's every good reason to pass. But when I'm looking for a long shot, I'm looking for something that is reasonable when things go right. This is reasonable if things go right.
What do you do when it's Andy Dalton that's playing quarterback for the Saints instead by week 3? Because Jameis Winston's thrown 27 interceptions in the first 2 games.
Hey, he threw 30 interceptions in 2019, and he led the league in passing. I will take 30 interceptions for him as long as he leads the league in passing.
But he would have to keep playing in those circumstances. The Saints don't have to commit. And I think there's no reason why the Saints need to be committed to Jameis Winston. The Saints can be exactly as committed to Jameis Winston as he performed the week before. There is unlike the team that drafted him that had reason to be committed to him, the Saints could move on next week and be fine. Like, I don't really know why
they could, but no. But the Saints know who Jameis Winston is, and they're good behind him. They know that Jameis Winston is going to throw a lot of interceptions. They also know he's going to throw the ball a ton. So if they were going to give him a short leash, he would never have the job here because they know exactly who Jameis Winston is. So I actually do think that Jameis Winston has a longer leash than you're making out to be.
I think that defense is too good for that to be true. I think you're being far. I think the circumstances are Jameis Winston loses 2 games because he's throwing the ball to the other team. They have a defense that's championship caliber. They've just got to see if they can find somebody who stops screwing it up at that point. I'm not saying that Jameis Winston, I can't see the future, obviously. I don't know this, but I don't believe it. I just think their defense is far too good for them to just continue saying, well, we got to ride or die with this guy that we have literally no investment in whatsoever.
But as you said, they have no investment. If they thought that their defense was a championship and they just needed a game manager, they would have gone out and gotten a game manager. They wouldn't have Jameis Winston as their quarterback right now. There was no commitment. As you said, there's no commitment at all to Jameis Winston. For whatever reason, they wanted Jameis Winston to be their quarterback. And
well,
I think
did.
part of it is
they definitely did not want him to be their quarterback. They wanted Deshaun Watson to be their quarterback.
Well, they wanted everybody.
They very clearly did not want Jameis Winston to be their quarterback. They couldn't get any of the guys they wanted. That's
they could have traded. Oh, I guess they couldn't have traded for Jimmy G because they have no salary cap. But there are guys out there they could have had. Could have had Teddy Bridgewater. They could have had game managers if they wanted game managers. And they want Jameis Winston.
And I think if after 2 weeks he's not proving to be able to get the job done, they'll say maybe Andy Dalton can be a game manager. I'm not trying to disparage Jameis Winston terribly because who knows? Maybe he can be serviceable enough to keep the job for the year. But the defense, man, that the Saints can be, and the division is not great outside of Tom Brady's existence. Right. There is the opportunity to win games, and if they're losing games specifically because Jameis Winston is throwing the ball to the other team, at some point they say to themselves, maybe we play somebody who doesn't throw the ball to the other team quite as much. We'll see. We will see.
We'll see what happens.
I like your theory about Michael Thomas in general. I just,
sure, if Andy Dalton is quarterback, you're right. Then this goes up in smoke. It's as good as even if Michael Thomas is perfectly healthy and returns to 2019 form. Andy Dalton's not giving somebody yards. I just believe that Jameis Winston has the job.
All right, let's go with one that you say, whatever you do not make this bet. This bet is a loser.
Yeah. So obviously I'm looking at not just NFL futures, but college futures as well. Looking at conference odds in this one, and this one jumped out at me. Right now, Clemson is minus 150 to win the ACC, obviously coming off a disappointing year last year. And while I do think they could bounce back, particularly because their defense is actually going to be really, really good. They might have the best defense in the country. I do still have questions about DJ Uiagalelei. I haven't had to say that in 9 months, so need to practice that some more. But I simply think the minus 150 juice is too heavy for that offense with so many questions. And it's reflected around the market. The 150 price is by far the most bullish on Clemson, and it's as low as even money around the industry. And if you wanted to say, all right, Clemson's defense is good enough to win it, I fully believe in Clemson. I don't have that much of a problem at even money. At minus 150, I think the juice is just too much to lay, especially with teams that have so much hype around it, like NC State or Pittsburgh or even Miami. I think that the ACC is a lot more wide open than most people think. And minus 150 is just too much to lay. So that is my bet I would not make at any sort of circumstances at minus 150.
Man, I hear you. I don't love Clemson, but the ACC stinks. The ACC is terrible. So I don't know. I probably think that's about right. All right, and then lastly, give me the bet that you love, the one you say, whatever you do, go find any sort of contraption that can get you to Hanover, that can get you to the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, because you got to make this bet.
So this one, unlike most where I say run out right now, you may want to wait an hour or so to go out and make this one because it's not actually up at FanDuel yet. I'm looking at something for USC 277. It's not up yet, but some of the lines are starting to go up today. I've noticed it over the past hour, couple things. So I expect it'll be up by this afternoon. It's the total number of rounds in the Pavlovich-Lewis fight. Both of these guys, Derek Lewis and Sergey Pavlovich, both knockout artists, both guys who just throw bomb after bomb after bomb. Pavlovich has had his last 5 fights end in the first round. Lewis has had fights go into the second, but in 4 of his last 5 fights, they've ended by the 140 mark in the second. The line industry-wide right now is 1.5, so that means it would have to end by the 2:30 mark in the second. I fully believe this to end in the first 1.5 rounds. It's around minus 140 in most places. So when that pops up on Fanduel, which I do believe will be sometime later today, go out, play it. I expect this fight to be a lot of fun, a lot of just big bombs being thrown, and someone to go down in the first round or early second.
I'm not going to argue with that at all. I'm not going to argue remotely with it, although I did not know. I didn't know that was how that worked, that you had the first 2.5 minutes of the second round. I thought it was just 1.5 reflected that it had to end in the first round, basically. I thought that's what that number reflected. So,
yeah, mixed martial arts is a little different than some other sports, or UFC specifically, where it is you do have until the 2.5 minute mark of whatever round.
I was unaware. That you love to act so kind. I just learned something. There you
go.
Very good.
That's what this segment is for.
All right, sir. At the Oster on Twitter is how people follow you. What's coming up with VSiN?
Check out VSiN. Obviously, we have our college football guides coming out soon. We'll have an NFL guide in the next few weeks. So check all of that out on VSiN.com.
All right, very good. Aaron Oster, appreciate you, pal. We will talk to you next Tuesday.
Talk to you next Tuesday. Hope all your bets hit.
That's Aaron Oster from VSiN out in Vegas. We continue. We're going to head to the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Their GM, Leon Twyman, will join us next. Next? I can't say next. What the hell is going on? This is Simply the Bets. Sports fans, the wait is over. The all-new Fanduel Sportsbook is now open at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover, Maryland. This is your chance to win big right in your own backyard. Bet on every sport with self-service kiosks and watch all of the action from the best seat in the house. Make every moment more at the all-new Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel in Hanover. Please play responsibly. Gambling problem? Please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit mdgamblinghelp.org.
Hey, O's fans, get to Oriole Park early on Friday, August 5th at 7:05 when the first 20,000 fans 15 and over will receive a Cedric Mullins 30-30 Club bobblehead presented by Masson. Celebrate Cedric Mullins' historic 2021 season when he became the first player in Orioles history to join the 30-30 Club with 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. Tickets start as low as $15. What better way to cheer on the Silver Slugger than at the ballpark that forever changed baseball? Buy tickets at Orioles.com/tickets.
The biggest pro wrestling stars today and all time all have one thing in common. You've heard them on Jobbing Out.
Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
The great Kurt Angle.
Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Matt Riddle.
Yeah, man. Thanks, man.
The champ, Drew McIntyre.
Oh, thank you for having me.
The great Ron Simmons.
Keith Lee.
Appreciate you guys having me, man.
Bill Goldberg.
My pleasure.
Charlotte.
Thank you so much for having me.
Mick Foley is with us.
This is the greatest name for a wrestling show I've ever heard.
MJF.
I'm glad you're happy I'm on this show because I'm freaking miserable.
Le champion!
Chris Jericho.
Le champion.
AJ, Aaron, Brandon, and Glenn are talking pro wrestling every week on Jobbing Out. Find it at PressBoxOnline.com/radio, iTunes, and SoundCloud.
The Toyota Tacoma comes in a wide range of models and trim lines. You can choose the perfect Toyota to reflect your unique personality and driving habits. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Tacomas from your local Toyota dealer today.
Stan the Fan here, welcoming back one of my favorite sponsors, the Costas Inn. And everybody around Baltimore knows the Costas Inn is a great place to go and grab crabs, steaks, salads, soups, whatever's on your mind to eat in person. But did you know that the Costas Inn has upped their game? They are now one of the premier takeout places in Baltimore. Give them a call now to order your food, 410-477-1975. That's the Costas Inn, over 4100 North Point Boulevard.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now, and it's our very first Salute the Coaches issue. On the cover, we recognize Ravens coach John Harbaugh ahead of his 15th season. Also inside, find tributes to Navy football coach Ken Niumatalolo, UMBC soccer coach Pete Caringi, Maryland soccer coach Sasho Sorovsky, and field hockey coach Missy Maharg, Mount St. Joe basketball coach Pat Clatchy, and Poly basketball coach Kendall Peace. We also honor recently retired Johns Hopkins lacrosse coach Janine Tucker and Calvert Hall baseball coach Lou Eckerl, the athletes whose whose lives these coaches have impacted, offering insights on what makes them special and why they've stood the test of time. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 area locations, including 60 Royal Farm stores, and you can always find the entire edition as well as the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps at PressBoxOnline.com.
To follow the show on Instagram, it's just Glenn Clark Radio. And to follow the show on OnlyFans, wait, I don't think you're supposed to know about that one. Any hoodle. Take it away, boys.
All right, back in here on Simply the Bets, brought to you by the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Let's head down to Hanover, where the man who is the general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook is standing by. He is our buddy Leon Twyman. Leon, what's going on, pal? How are you?
Hey, good. How's it going?
Oh, let's see if we can't. We'll try one more time there with Leon. We might need to call him one more time. It might need to just go that way. Sorry about that. Still getting the system perfected. Still trying to perfect our new studio here. We will attempt one more time to try to reconnect with Leon Twyman. See if he can't hear us as we figure out how we're going to make some money this week. We'll try one more time. Leon, you there? We got you?
Yeah, I'm still here, my man.
What's up, buddy? How you doing? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. How about yourself? Enjoy the vacation?
Yeah. For a minute I did, and then I had to babysit a 7-year-old on a cruise. It was very, it was a bit of a stressful trip. So the last couple of weeks, give me an idea. What's the money been coming in on? How have things been looking? Have the Orioles and winning 10 straight games? I know you said you guys were already getting more money on the Orioles. Has it led to like absurd amounts of money that you started to see come in on the Birds?
Oh, man, we are, like, getting hammered right now with Orioles bets. It's unreal, especially with the one guest that we have who still has, like, over $40,000 on them. You know, it's pretty scary, I can tell you that.
That is very stressful. That is extraordinary. Like, almost the point where you can't enjoy the team because you're so stressed out about it. What else? Where else has money gone during the course of the summer? We're getting ready. We're ramping up. Obviously, football's just a couple of weeks away. What is the most action that you guys have seen over the course of the last few weeks?
Mainly just baseball and UFC. We took a beating pretty well beginning of the All-Star break, like right before it happened. We took a pretty bad beating, and after that we rebounded.
What did you guys
came back with some wins?
What'd you take the beating on?
Mainly all the favorites winning.
Really?
We just had a massive amount of parlays just on all the favorites to win. I believe that was the day like 14 of the 16 covered or something crazy of that amount.
Yikes.
We got hammered.
Not a good day in the sports book. All right, you mentioned UFC. Obviously, the attention this week turns to UFC 277 and the Pena-Nunez fight on Saturday night. And as always, the place to be to watch the fights and bet on them is in the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Are you starting to see any particular action come in on this fight?
Yes, we're actually getting a lot on Amanda Nunes right now.
Yeah.
And we're actually getting a lot on Derek Lewis.
So we were just talking about Derek Lewis. We need you to get the round props up for Derek Lewis because we think that fight is going to end really quickly. We need that option to go sub 1.5 rounds for the fight between the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, and Sergey Pavlovich. We need that. I don't know who you need to talk to, but I need that prop up immediately so I can give you my money.
Yeah,
please.
We definitely need that up. I'm waiting to bet that myself.
So you mentioned Nunes, of course, who is trying to avenge. That number has been moving rapidly. Apparently, you are not lying about how much action because I saw that number start around like 240, and it's already up to minus 310. It is hilarious to me that Juliana Pena won the last fight and yet is a significant dog in this fight. There is some small part of me, like I know better because I too believe that Nunes is going to win the fight, but like there's some small part of me that's like, we're going really far to disrespect Juliana Pena here. Like we are kind of being quite disrespectful to the champion in this process. There's a small part of me that's like maybe it's worth tossing a couple of bucks that way just because the number is so kind of crazy.
Yeah, it might not be a bad idea, honestly. I mean, we've seen it in the past, see some underdogs like that, and you're like, there's no way. And then, obviously, they come back and win. So, definitely with this one, too, huge possibility.
Run me through some of the options that we have for betting the fights on Saturday nights.
So you have the obviously the method of victory. So you can do by knockout, TKO, by point, submission. You can also do if it's a draw, which obviously the draw is like a huge attractor to people because it's usually around 50-1, just like this fight is right now. So yeah, you know what? Throw a couple bucks on it. You never know what might happen. And then you also got, will the fight go the distance? You got method and then round combo. So you can do like whatever method of win you would like to see happen and pick which round that it would occur into. And that's actually, it's a lot of money in that option there. So I think the smallest one right now we have is 4.5-1. That's Nunes KO, TKO first round. Everything else is a lot higher than that.
Yeah, like if you get to like round 3, if you think that Nunes wins by a KO or TKO in round 3, that's 13-1. I mean, there's a real opportunity for some serious payouts there if you can combine those two. That's
and that's what I'm going to bet when it comes to Derek Lewis. I'm going to the method and round combo.
You're saying Lewis in round 1 by knockout. Is that what you're going with?
Oh, that's what I'm loving right now.
Yeah. I think we're going to be in agreement on that one, pal. I think we are going to be in agreement on that. Leon Twyman, general manager of the Fanduel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel, is with us. Of course, 61 self-service kiosks for you to get all of your bets in, not just for UFC 277, but also for, and I think it's important because the kiosks are open 24/7. So if you want to bet whatever it is, you want to bet a soccer match that's happening in the morning, you want to bet a golf tournament that's happening somewhere else in the world, you can always get your bets in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. So, Leon,
yes.
I have been thinking about something. Would it be an option for someone to say maybe host their fantasy football draft in the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel? Would that be something that you guys would be willing to maybe help facilitate?
Yeah, and actually, that is actually something right now that the general manager of Sports and Social is looking to do currently. So that definitely is something we could do.
I've been talking about this a little bit with my pal Griffin here. I was looking at that week 1 slate of college football games. That includes like Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Florida, Utah.
Perfect time for it.
Yeah, like Georgia, Oregon. Some really big games that day. And that's a week before NFL season begins. And so it seems like that's when you should be drafting your fantasy football team. I cannot imagine a better scenario than hanging out and holding my fantasy football draft while watching all of the week 1 college football action on that giant 100-foot media wall and betting all of those games at the same time. That literally sounds like perfection to me.
That's heaven right there. That's exactly what it is.
And you're saying that is something that we could do. If we say emailed events@sportssocialmd.com, we might have the option to do such a thing.
Yes, sir. Can definitely try to do that.
I would do it right now. Right now, I would send that email to reserve you and your league spot because I'm just going to guess that Labor Day weekend and that first weekend of college football, it's going to be a busy weekend for you all in the FanDuel Sportsbook.
It's going to be insane. And then we're also about to roll out a new product soon. So, definitely want to bring in some people for that.
What is that all about? Tell me about that.
So we're going to have some bet pads to where you can place your wagers while you're sitting down at the
Shut up.
In the lounge seats at the tables in Sports and Social.
Shut up.
All you have to do is purchase a QR code, upload it to the tablet, and you can place your wagers while you're sitting there.
Oh my! So you don't even have to go stand in line. Because we've all been there for nights where it's been quite busy, and then you could be a little bit. There could be a little bit like 10 people in line. I remember on draft night a couple times, I was like, "There's a little bit of a line here." You're telling me that I could be there watching and betting on all of those college football games, and I don't have to leave my seat?
Nope. All you have to do is purchase that QR code, check out the tablet, take it to where you're setting at, and you're good to go. As long as you're staying inside the sportsbook, it works.
And when is this going to be available to me, Leon? And also, again, how much would it cost to rent a room there at the FanDuel Sportsbook? Because I might not be leaving. When is this going to be available?
So we are hoping to roll this out before football season starts. We are doing some more testing this week and next week, and hopefully we're going to be rolling out with that very soon.
FanDuel
FanDuel is on property tomorrow and the rest of this week. I have all the tablets here, so I've been kind of playing around with them myself, seeing how they operate. It's a lot of fun.
That is so cool, man. That is so cool. I love how
We're going to be the first FanDuel book to have them.
I love how you guys are like, oh, yeah, you guys, mobile betting's not available, huh? Well, we're going to make it available. We're going to make
exactly.
it. That's the way it's going to go. I love everything about that. All right, what else is on your radar this week, Leon? What else is it that you're thinking about? Maybe was there a big win that somebody had that you want to tell us about? Just give me what else is going on in the FanDuel Sportsbook.
Yeah, this past week with fight night with the Patty fight, we had someone hammering it. Dropped $30,000 on him to win. Would have been nice to get that submission, but he just did straight win. So payout was decent, but could have been a lot better.
God, I would just want to interview the person that put down $30,000 on a straight. I get it. Like on a straight win, it's not nearly as much risk involved in something like that, but it's still $30,000 that we're talking about.
Yeah, $30,000.
Jesus.
He was happy. He came up, cashed out, and he's just like, it's another day for me. That's all he said.
By the way, the number of people that I talk to that so comfortably, and this is one of the experiences that I've had with all the events that we've hosted in the FanDuel Sportsbook, I will have people casually come up to me and show me tickets where they lost like $15,000, and I'll be like, oh my God. I'll think they're suicidal.
The most relaxed people ever.
Correct. And they're like, well, yeah, I won $40,000 the other day. I'm like, okay. You're living a different life than I'm living, bro. Like, you are living. If I'm telling you I lost $150, I'll be like, well, that was a tough night for me. That was a real tough night for me. You're out here just casually like, yeah, I'm down $15,000 for the day, and you're like, nah, whatever. You got a T-shirt for me? I'm like, I do. Here, have 4. You just lost $15,000. What the hell? Oh, it's a different world when you deal with people that do this on a day-to-day basis.
It really is. It really is.
We are really excited about those tablets, man. We are really excited about that. We will continue to be in touch. Leon Twyman, appreciate it. We'll talk to you next Tuesday, all right?
All right, man. Have a good one. Thank you.
Leon Twyman, General Manager of the FanDuel Sportsbook at Live Casino and Hotel. Think about that. Think about that, Carson Weekly. You and your league.
Perfect.
You and your league just hanging out.
Watching Florida, Utah. Watching Utah beat Florida. That's my prediction.
Do you hate Florida because you're in the SEC? Is that
no? Okay, see, I don't have any problem with Florida.
Okay,
because
they've been pretty irrelevant.
They're in the East.
Yeah, they've been pretty irrelevant for the last couple of years.
They're in the East, so
okay.
It's just we just don't see them as often.
So why are you so confident that Utah is going to beat them?
I just like Utah football. I think they're really underrated.
That's very random. That is super random.
I think they've had some good teams in the past.
Yes,
I think in the
that.
past 5 to 7 years, they've had some good teams that have gone
a
little bit under the radar because of where they are and the opponents they play. But this is a time for them to get a real shot at this is a real team. This is Florida, and I think they can do it.
All right. So you can be hanging out, watching and betting on all of those games. Week 1 of college football.
And drafting your fantasy football team.
And doing your own fantasy draft. And you don't even have to leave your chair. They are going to let you bet from your chair. God, that's perfect. Email right now, events@sportssocialmd.com. And just, find out. Find out what's available. Find out, whatever it is that you need to know. Hey, we got 14 people in our league. Do you have room for all of us? Just you can ask those questions about reserving your spot in the FanDuel Sportsbook. All right. We got a tidbit of the week. Griffin prepares a tidbit.
Yes, we do.
Every week.
Let's see. I got to pull it up here. My apologies.
In the meantime, also a reminder that same email address, events@sportssocialmd.com. That's the same place that you would email in order to reserve your spot for Saturday night, in order to reserve your spot for the UFC fight, UFC 277. Reserve your spot right now by emailing events@sportssocialmd.com. To be clear, even if you don't reserve a spot, you'll always be able to. There'll be room for you to stand. There'll be room for you to, get to the kiosk, make your bets. But if you want to make a night of it, get food, get drinks, bring some friends out, have that be your hangout spot, email events@sportssocialmd.com. Reserve a table. Or be the guy that shows up on Saturday night like, oh, man, I can't find a table. Yeah, I told you. There's going to be a massive crowd. There's always a massive crowd for every UFC fight. That's the way that it works. So email events@sportssocialmd.com right now and reserve your spot immediately. Okay.
All right. So there are significantly less, betting stories out there now that, NBA, NHL, now that the playoffs are down for those, and it's just baseball, but still, some good stuff. Let's see. I saw somebody put $1,000 on Will Anderson to win the Heisman. Will Anderson is the Alabama linebacker who was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
He's maybe the best player in college football.
He might be.
Currently 40-1, but no defensive player has won.
It's just so
since
bloody
97.
hard.
1997.
Yeah, Charles Woodson.
Woodson was the last one. Yeah.
There was a great argument for Ndamukong Suh to win the Heisman. There was obviously quite a strong argument for Manti Te'o to win the Heisman. Of course, probably fortunate that he didn't, because that would have been butt awkward. I believe it was Manziel who won that year instead. There have been strong
argument for Clowney too.
It's just so tough. It's just so, and Clowney's teams weren't really good enough.
Right.
That's you have to be on for a defensive player to win. That's Will Anderson's chance would be. It's just the problem being that if they're that good, the likelihood is also that like Bryce Young's really good,
right?
And so if that's the case,
Bryce Young will win.
Probably.
The odds are stacked highly against defensive.
And that's the reason why the odds are so steep, obviously. But it's just
Yeah.
I love the idea. I love going for a risk, but nah.
There was someone put together a 50-1 parlay on the All-Star game. They won $12,000 because they did inning results. So they had the NL winning the first inning, then a second inning tie, so 0-0 in the second inning frame. The American League winning the fourth inning, and then an eighth inning tie, and all those four things happened.
Super random.
Yeah,
that comes off as somebody who's playing a lot of parlays, and they hit that one, but then you're gonna find out about the 10 that he didn't hit that night.
And then also, speaking of large wagers, someone put $54,000 on the home run derby. They put it on Kyle Schwarber to beat Albert Pujols in the first round. So just that matchup.
Oh, but Schwarber got screwed.
Schwarber got screwed and lost. And so the bet only would have paid out $15,000 because it was minus 360.
Only would have paid out.
I mean, if you're putting down $54K on something, so they
thought that was free money. So
yeah,
they definitely did.
And it almost was, I guess, or should have been. That was still
there was
an unclear circumstance there.
There was a lot of controversy in NASCAR betting because both Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, who finished 1-2 in the race at Pocono this weekend, they were both disqualified after the race, and the win was given to Chase Elliott. And all of the various sites have completely different rules. Some of them say the bet is deemed final when somebody goes to the podium. So whatever happens after that, irrelevant. The bet is now final. So they declared that Denny Hamlin was the winner. Another book, I believe, was paying out both Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott as winners. Meanwhile, another book was paying out only Chase Elliott as a winner. These are the types of things. I had to learn this the hard way with soccer betting, where the place
lift
that
the cup.
That you have to use that terminology because it wasn't lift, it was to advance. I bet somewhere where it was just you're betting Italy to win. And I understood, because I know soccer, that a match that goes to penalty kicks does not count as a win. You did not win that match. If it goes to penalty kicks and you win, you didn't actually win the match. Your official result is that you finish in a draw.
You just get the points.
You advance. Because penalty kicks only happen in knockout rounds. So you advance. It was the final match was a draw, but you advance. However, I bet on Italy in the Euro. I guess this was last summer, the summer before, whenever the men's Euro was. I bet on Italy in the semifinals. They won not in penalty kicks. They won in extra time. An extra time win is a win. In soccer, it is not. You didn't advance. You didn't draw in advance. You won. You just won in extra time. A la somebody that won in extra inning baseball or something like that. You won the game. So I was high-fiving. I was celebrating. I was like, hell yeah, I just hit a big win. And then I went. I was like, where's my money? Where's my money? And apparently in the fine print, it only counts as a win if it happened in 90 minutes.
90 minutes plus injury time. Yep.
So you just gotta know. You gotta know what it is.
Someone bet Cam Smith to win the Open. So they sat through the whole weekend cheering for Cam Smith until they got to Sunday. Their account wasn't refreshing, and they realized they bet him to win the U.S. Open.
Oh, that's next year.
They made the bet.
They made the
June.
bet.
They made the
so
bet
they
in
lost.
June.
They definitely lost that bet.
Yes, they definitely lost that one.
Win the U.S. Open. I know
and
that.
So they sat through the British Open, and
I bet they were very disappointed.
Yeah, they were definitely
It's sort of like betting on Italy to win and thinking that you had won, and then, oh, no, I didn't. I didn't win at all. Somebody else won, and you're disappointed.
And then I got one more that was a lucky better with a very improbable backdoor cover. They remember that crazy game before the All-Star break between the Brewers and the Giants. Josh Hader blew a save, letting up 6 runs.
Oh, yeah.
So they bet an alternate line, Giants -2.5.
Okay.
So they go into the ninth inning. They're down 5-2. Josh Hader's on the mound.
Right.
And he lets
Somehow,
up a couple homers,
and then
loads the bases.
Walk-off grand slam.
They win by 3
That's
and
amazing.
cover.
Yeah, Josh Hader, just by the way, has got like a 4-point-something ERA.
Yeah,
just from that,
sucks. The Orioles totally won that.
Well, I got this down here somewhere. Yeah, Brewers bullpen.
I don't even remember what the trade was. Which trade was it with the Orioles sent Hader? God,
I don't remember.
Driving nuts.
Brewers 15th, so right in the middle in bullpen ERA with
Probably
all that,
from
with
that
all that
game.
talent.
Why
they got
is
in
that
the
a
bullpen.
note that you had for this?
Well,
how are you convinced?
Because you told me last week that you wanted me to my homework besides Young
what, like
Utes
arbitrary
was
stats?
to come up with some possible destinations for Mancini, so I did Lopez too.
I
wrote down.
Why didn't you tell me before?
Well, Hader
the show that you
sucks,
did
so
those?
I just kind of thought that you'd remember because you
No,
told me to do it,
brother. I don't remember what I don't remember what I did last night. I don't remember anything. My brain barely functions. As we remember from when I forgot about how old are you, how young are you the first time.
right.
Like I always forget everything, everything. So I'm glad you did all that work.
Well, it only took me a couple. It only took me like 15.
You have anything interesting? You have a perfect.
Well, I said that.
Because unfortunately you can't bet.
I said the Astros were a good fit for Mancini because I don't know how to pronounce his first name. Aledmus Diaz is listed as the backup for 5 positions.
Well, I understand.
So
but
they're a little
was,
thin.
I was looking specifically for a place where he could play at first base every day.
Well, that's what I was also looking at.
Yeah.
But I found, the Mets are probably the top contender.
Josh Hader was in the Bud Norris trade.
Bud Norris.
Oh, wow.
It was Josh Hader and LJ Hose, the Astros, for Bud Norris. The Orioles totally won that deal. Ha ha! He stinks now. Big winners on that trade. You suck. We got over on you, man. Bud Norris was not that great.
He was Bud Norris. Yeah,
it was about what you would expected for a team that was not very good in 13. All right, very good. Thanks to Leon Twyman. Thanks to Aaron Oster. We will be back on Thursday for Weekend at Bookies, and next Tuesday for the next Simply the Bets. For Griffin and Carson, I'm Glenn. May the odds be ever in your favor.